Hello again, it's Prue, and I am going to present a new recipe for investors. How to apply LTHS into your investments, an investment strategy. Um, I had an idea for this after having done one for LTHS for business and government, and it occurred to me that while they might be similar, it might be valuable to go through it because there's some slight and important differences. So, um, uh, also before moving on, Prerequisites intro to layered ternary harmony story and applying LTHS into daily life. Um, it's important to have that basis, that understanding before moving on into these other modules. So why consider applying LTHS into your investments? Well, I think it's becoming very clear and indisputable that some form of new era is upon us. We're in the midst of a collapse. There's a lot of uncertainty, but using layered ternary harmony story, we see the story templates, we understand the story playing out, and we understand exactly what's on the horizon. This is all a part of the arrival of a new, green, collaborative, more friendly era. And with this collapse of the legacy, there's going to be new winners and losers. And we have a chance at this point to become pioneers in it. And not looking at it in the old ways of how much money do I put in and how much money do I get out, but in a completely new set of metrics, new rules, but being a part of the pioneers that create this new world. That will be richer, it will be progressive, it will be multi-layered, and it will be both familiar in many ways and absolutely completely brand new in others. So it's part of being able to, first of all, acknowledge what's going on with the real world, with the world around us. Acknowledge, using just some simple tools, of that what's on the horizon is going to require some decisions on your behalf. Making that decision to perhaps serve a role as a pioneer, not only invest, but support a new movement, and aligning that to an overall universal story that LTHS allows us to understand that's playing out in front of us. So, not to mention being able to enjoy being a part of that versus what we're experiencing at this moment. No matter how many billions you've got, you're in the same mess that we are, perhaps maybe even in it worse in some ways. So going through, hopefully I've gotten your attention, at least some of you, we'll present the recipe, which looks and feels an awful lot like the recipe for applying LTHS into one's own life or into one's organization. It begins with recognizing its benefits. To recognize it, you have to understand it. That overview is very useful in getting there, and watching it over and over again if you have to. I believe that's effective. Staying connected to my posts, regular posts, they'll help keep you pointed and informed and growing in your understanding of LTHS. Recognizing it is a new game, new rules, new ways to win. It will require open mind. It will require improvisation. We're going to be creating this as we go. well, then, I've mentioned it, making that choice to do this, both to protect it, to enhance it, but also to become a supporting pioneer in it, helping to align our planet to a new, more harmonious, sustainable future. And then finally, perhaps even migrate into an early semi-retirement, all-inclusive campus as one of those pioneers, versus what's playing out in our current system. So I like to pop this slide up in my presentations just as a reminder to really spend time getting to know, getting familiar with LTHS, with that overview. The most important, or in a nutshell, if you will, LTHS is basically all current accepted scientific observation overlaid with machine executable architecture. And those two things together combined deliver new layers of understanding of ourselves and our universe, a CPU layer and a software layer over what we have right now understood to be our universe, which is our hydrogen-based physical universe. And within it, we are able to see known, observable, universal forces, harmony forces, where disharmony is corrected by higher states of harmony over and over again throughout all layers of our universe. In fact, it's what's produced us out of nothing over the past 14 billion or so years. And these are known harmony forces which contribute towards harmony, and when they're not there, disharmony. And we are able to observe that disharmony triggers unconditionally correction by higher harmony over time. So we use this information to our advantage and engineering our portfolio, our investments into markets, products, services, organizations, practices that align to these things. That's where we place our investments. Same place where we place our own lives, same place where we place our own minds, the same place where the universe universally places their forces. Now, this is no different than building a better bridge or building with a better understanding of gravity. Applying that into investments, applying these forces into investments, you're looking at things, you're looking at these practices, things like local versus long distance, collaborative versus competitive, optional or versus essential, green versus polluting, free versus controlled. These are all very big knobs on the overall architecture of our civilization. And these are the most important ones, because once you go past that and design solutions to it, it's impossible to engineer it back out without rising all the way back up to the highest level of this architecture. These are the big knobs. All-inclusive versus bureaucratic, access to a daily life of harmony and bliss and abundance and leisure versus a life based on just wealth, and then with lack all around us. These are the kind of decisions you're going back and revisiting, using now known harmony forces, and you're pruning, and you're correcting, and you're aligning your portfolio to these things. Again, kind of like microscoping in down even further, things that promote online versus physical commuting, which are much more costly to everyone in the planet, whenever possible, unless necessary for daily life, if you will. things that are daily, local, central, artisan, versus these mass-produced, mass-distributed, mass retail kind of environments, which cost so much to the planet, but they generate a good profit on a spreadsheet. The energy sources, green, not only production but storage, hydrogen cells. Our body uses this very same process for its own energy. Very clean, versus these polluting forms of production and storage. These are big picture decisions where you can actively invest. Not only are you doing the right thing, not only are you supporting a new direction, but you're also protecting yourself from the fall and collapse that's right before our eyes. And one other possibility is artwork in the LTHS dimensions principle to that, versus legacy stocks. Artwork for any Renaissance by its pioneers transcends all systems. It always preserves its priceless nature. Think of Da Vinci's work. Think of Michelangelo's work. Regardless of whatever system persists, it will continue to be priceless to all new systems. And these are absolutely the safest places for any sort of investment. Finally, as we look at LTHS in the investment angle, I can't help but point out the possibility to consider being one of these pioneers in early retirement and being a part of this all-inclusive live, work, play, learn for all campus community, where there are no bills, no stress, no fault, like semi-retired resort living, all-inclusive, everything you need, vibrant downtown, outdoor adventures, seasonal migrations to other campus communities, with plenty of opportunities to contribute part-time to your community. Really a utopia that is win-win-win, where the planet wins. The cost of this is tremendously reduced from current legacy way of doing all of this. The kind of talent we can recruit and retain through this is very, very greatly improved. There's no losers to this, except the current system, which is observably disharmonious and has collapsed already, and basically opening itself up and giving way to this new future. And we could be a part of it. We could be a part of it on so many levels. We could become a part of its creation, become pioneers in this, with everything that comes with that. So I hope that something in here was interesting to you or valuable to you, and ideas. Please feel free to contact me directly, my email, and thank you so much.